Welcome to the home of RealtyAPX, SignaShare, and AcctFusion. We have an action-packed day for you, so let's just dive right in. Today what we're going to go over is a complete overview of the transaction platform from end to end. Everything from the electronic signatures and form filling, including your whole transaction document management, as well as the task management. Then we'll get into commissions, a dynamic commission structure, as well as show you the CRM and how to close out a transaction and push those pieces into the accounting module. Let's start by giving you an overview of what the system can do. At the top, you have the ability to get to everything that you will need in the entire system. You have this drop down for the initial setup, profile, and anything else that you need to link accounts if you have multiple accounts, as well as you have a shortcuts feature where you can do a bunch of different things just by a click of a button. On top of that, these are the main applications that we offer. SignaShare, which is under the signatures, offers you the ability to create any form that you want, upload those forms, add your merge tags, and they can be filled. You can fill any document for a transaction. You can also do electronic signatures, so you can assign those documents to an electronic signature process and sign those documents and push them back into the transactions. We have a full calendaring system for an office management feature. We have the document management for all the transactions and everything that you need to manage those documents. A full CRM, a managerial CRM built into the system, as well as a full transaction management application. And then the other features for managing the office with the accounting. To begin with, every agent and every office, every user that has access to the system has the ability to manage their dashboard. As you saw before, you add these widgets up here from this folder, and you can move and you can set these however you want. What this allows the agent or the broker to do, it allows them to prioritize what's the most important thing in their day and put those at the top. And finally, what I'd like to show you is you have the ability to completely white label your system. That means you can have your own URL, you can have your own CSS, the styling. Everything can be customized exactly the way you want it to look for your agents with them logging into your own system. And you also have the additional benefit of integrating your MLS, so all of your transactions can come directly into here. Let's move into the first tab, which is the signature side. This is what stores SignaShare. In this section, you have the ability to create your own forms in the form designer and then assign them to a signature template. What that will do is allow the transactional piece to grab forms, fill them, send them out for signatures, and reposit them back into your transaction document workflow. So when you click on Quick Forms, you'll be able to upload any document as you see here, and you'll be able to do a multitude of different things to create this form the way you want it, to have it filled the way you want it in your transaction management process. When you get finished with this form, then you'll create a template. You'll take and it'll populate this form into a template where you'll put your signatures where they need to be. You can overview this piece and do anything that you want to get it ready to be filled. Once it is finalized, then you can push it directly into your transaction management product and never have to come back here and recreate it. You set this up one time and then you use it over and over again in the transaction management system. Once you have all your forms created that you see here, that's great. Then you move on. The next piece to this is setting up the documents. These documents that will grab these forms and have them available as you run through your transaction management system. As you see, I click Setup, and then I run through this process. First, we set up these forms. Then the next part is we define the property types and we add doc lists to those. When you click on the doc list, you'll create all the types of documents, the list of things that you do in your operations. So if you do residential, if you do short sales, commercial, you'll set up one checklist for each one of those types of properties. What that allows you to do, it allows you to tell your agents exactly what the documents you need for your office to close a particular transaction. Let's click on a doc list and kind of see how it looks. Once you're in your doc list, you will define what each document is for that residential document checklist. You'll assign a form to it. You'll assign an electronic signature template for it. And then you'll say whether or not this document, when it is filled or signed or uploaded, is for the buyer, or if it's for the seller, if it's for a listing side, or if it's once you've got both the buyer and seller together in a deal to fall under that checklist. You can completely customize and create as many documents as you want. Once you have these documents done, great. You're basically done. You're ready to do a transaction. Back to the setup screen, you take those documents and then you add your property task list and you assign those all to a particular type of document. So what happens there is once I create these documents and these task lists, then I'm going to assign them to a particular sale type that I do. For example, if I do a residential sale, I want to assign my doc list and my task list so that every time an agent comes into my system and wants to do a residential sale, all they have to know is that they're doing a residential sale and everything else is populated for them. Now let's go into the actual transactions. Once you're in your transactions, it's very easy. To add a property, you click Add. If you have the MLS integration, then it automatically adds your listings. And if you want to add a buyer side, then you just click Sync, type in the MLS number, and it'll automatically create a buyer side for you so that it'll pull the data and you can put your buyer in and you'll have everything in there. Let's go to an example. Let's maybe find Main Street. So we have Main Street, 854 Main Street. Once you open this transaction, you see the name of the property and the agent that is responsible for it. The admin has the same screens and can manage this with the agents, help the agents through the process, can do it for the agents. They all have access to this. If you're management, if you're a broker, you're an admin or transaction coordinator, everything is all found under this screen. So if you come in here, you have the full property details. Everything that you need for this transaction is all available at your fingertips. If you have important custom property fields, you can add them here. These are all your important contacts and all the roles that go with that property. So what this does is it allows you to create these contacts once in your CRM and have them available for you at all times. You can have other limited users have access to this property, as well as anyone else on your team. So if you work as a team and you share rights with other people and everyone's working together to close this transaction, you have that ability. Those document lists and task lists that we created before, then we added those forms, all fall into this doc list right here. So what it does is an agent comes in and says he is doing a residential sale. Then he can be a new agent, he can be a veteran agent. It's going to populate everything that the broker requires him to do before he can close this transaction. Now, if the broker has set up the forms that need to be filled or signed, then they'll all be available here. What this does is it allows the agent to never leave the system, to be a seamless process from end to end. They click fill and sign, they can preview the form before it's filled, and move the system through the process. Once it's out being signed, then they can see the status of everything going on without having to go back into SignaShare. They can completely automate this whole process. If it's not a form or a fillable form or being signed, they can still have the ability to upload the document or attach the document from their document management system up here. So if you come down here to the example that I want to show you, so maybe we have a contact form. Maybe we want to preview this beforehand. So we click preview, we want to see what it looks like. If that looks good, then great. Let's just save that filled form here. And it'll automatically go grab that document that the broker's created, fill that document with the data you have in here, and put it in here. Once I have all these documents uploaded, then I can submit this property and it's ready to close. It's as easy as that. The broker comes in here and checks them all off, makes sure they're okay, and then that property or that transaction can be closed out. So that is how the document and the task list work. Now we're going to go into a little bit on the other things that are available. If you look at details, you have the ability to keep all the dates. These dates will trigger those tasks that need to be done. They can be automated based off of dates that are needed and things that need to happen on the transaction. We have an offer feature, showings feature, but let's dive into this commission section because we have a dynamic commissions infrastructure. This commission management piece is one of the most important pieces of the system because what it allows agents and brokers to do is to manage their commissions without having Excel sheets and tracking them in separate places and being like, did I get paid this or not paid this? But it allows them to really see exactly what is being paid to the agent, but also manage those payments in a dynamic commission management system. This is what the agent sees, but let's go real briefly into how to set up these commissions. Now, to set up these commissions, there's two places to get there, either in the setup or as well as in the management section. If you click on the management section, it'll take you to the commission management setup. Here you have the agent information. You can manage your agents, manage all your transactions, but we're going to go into the commission section. Now this is exciting because this dynamic commission plan, this system, you set it up once, you tell them what the expenses are, what the caps are, if there's a min transaction, a max, if there's annual caps per one, what the reference number is for the accounting program, everything you just set up completely, and then you come in here and you assign it to the agents. So then you just have your agents, and this whole thing is set up to be team friendly or just individual members. If you don't have teams in your office, then great, you just each person is its own individual. But if you do have a team infrastructure and a large team or a team of 3 or 4 or 5 come in and they want to join your office, you can tell them, great, I have that infrastructure to manage and to allow you to do that ability, have that ability. Because you can add team members to a plan, and then you assign team members to a team, and then you assign that plan to them. This is really big because what it allows you to do is it allows you to set those commission plans, assign them to the teams, and that way when you're in the transaction, all you do is say, hey, which team is working on this transaction? And then the system dynamically goes out and understands exactly where their caps are, how much they've been paid, who's going to get paid on this, how many people are involved in the transaction, and create this accounting infrastructure and keep tabs on everything so that when a cap is reached, it'll stop and other things will keep going, or it'll change. If you have a 60-40 and then you move to an 80-20, then it knows exactly when to stop the 60-40 and when to go forward with that 80-20. When you're done with the transaction, you have this property report, which gives you a full detailed analysis of everything that happened on that transaction. So remember, we still have that transaction going on, and we showed you where the commission infrastructure was, but you get an actual report of everything that went through on that transaction, what the sales price was, the gross commission income, all the expenses that went into closing that property, as well as the income and what you paid each agent for that. And you can export that directly from here. So if you do one property at a time, you can do that, or you can drill down on your specific offices or your teams or your actual agents, and you can export everything at one time if you need to import that into QuickBooks or something like that. So now we're back in the property, and over here you see the commission team. We selected who the person was. Say this is just not a team, it's just an individual. So Jonathan Formby is now the person that is responsible for this property. And if I go into details, I don't have to do anything. It automatically formulates according to what the sales price is and what the commission amount is, or the commission that's coming in from that property, and then it automatically takes the fees and takes the caps and says exactly what the office or what's being taken out and exactly how much the check is going to be cut to the agent. That's really big, and it is really important that an office understands their ability to really save time in this commission management piece, because what it allows you to do, allows you to then export that data into a QuickBooks, or allows you to push this into our accounting system. So once the property's been submitted, and they can push that property at that point into the accounting system. But if there is an issue or something needs to be changed, then you just come in here and edit it. As a broker, you can do minor adjustments. You can, if it's a difference in a commission, say they're doing something that's commercial or something that's not on their normal split, you can just give them whatever other commission you have and it'll automatically readjust. If there's someone that is a referral on this property, great. Come in here, add a referral, and give them a percentage or a fee amount or whatever, and this system will automatically adjust accordingly. So that pushes all that data into our double entry accounting system. In here, you have everything that you'll need for that transaction, everything that you'll need to run your office or multiple offices that you have in the system. Down here, all your transactions, when they're pushed, are automatically populated into here. So when the check is received for the commission, you add it here, and then you just click the drop down. You see all the agents you need to pay on this commission. Click pay, add, and pay those. Everything is done directly from the system. So you never have to leave the system from the beginning of the transaction all the way to the end when people are paid. You see all the receivables that the agent owes you. So if there's desk fees, any other receivables outside of that, as well as transaction receivables, and then any commissions you pay against those transactions, as well as these are what the office basically makes off of those transactions. And then any other vendor payables like electricity, internet, things like that that you pay for the office. Everything is managed through this one system. Your profit and loss, your receivables, your bank reconciliations, any trending reports so that you know what months am I losing money or what months am I making the most money, as well as all your transactions and any money that's due from any agents outstanding in the system. Keep track of it all here. This is the basic overview, but you can get as deep as you want into the system, making invoice and payments. You also have a shortcuts feature up here to do quick things that you need to do in your accounting process. So you never have to leave the system from the beginning of the transaction to the very end. This is really important because not only is it a system that you can work on your desktop, but everything that we've done in RealtyAPX is responsive. So you can log into it on your phone. You don't need to RDP into a remote server. You can do everything you need to do, whether you're on vacation, or if you're at home, if you're on your iPad or any tablet or your iPhone. You have full ability to do everything from beginning to end. So as you can see, as you use a tablet version, everything completely changes to fit your tablet. You can do 100% of your work from any device that you have. Every transaction has a digital flyer so that you can put a QR code on it or print them out. If you just click print, you can still get a print, or you can email this digital flyer to everybody. And what that does is it allows people that like the property, who have seen or whatever, can come to this URL of this property and they can submit an offer right from here. So everything that you need to receive an offer is all right here. Any documents that they need that you're requiring that they upload to you for an offer is all right here. Who they are, if they're pre-qualified, what the names are, any information about the property, they can do submit an offer, as well as if you hold an open house. So you basically take this into your open house and you open up on your iPad or your phone, or people that come through, they fill out their information. Everyone that they fill out funnels back into your open house feature and shows exactly who came through the property, if they have an agent, if they have a home to sell, as well as you have this showings feature. So if anyone wants to schedule a showing, you have the time designated, whether they're an agent or they might not be an agent, they can schedule a showing with you themselves, and you set the parameters of when you have that available. And if they don't have an agent, then you have a qualified buyer lead that you can go and show the property to. If they're interested, they buy it. You double in the transaction. If they're not interested, great. You still know what they liked and didn't like about your property, and then you can follow up because you have their email and give them a couple of other properties that they may be interested in. You have a full photo gallery of all the photos, so as you send this out to people, they get a real overview of what exactly goes on. They have a map of where the location is, any important points around that, as well as they can leave their contact information for you to follow up with them later. So within the system, you have a full managerial CRM. That means you can do anything you want. You set these tabs up top here, and you can also, within each tab, it allows you to have a foldering structure so that you can keep these foldering structures separate and really manage all of your contacts the way you want them to be managed. You create the folders for every single tab you have at the top. If it's leads, you might want different columns available than you want for your buyers or sellers. So you can manage these columns, show what you want to show. You can do a lot of stuff on the fly, so that if you come in here and say, hey, this is what I want this to be, this is actually a commitment, you can manage a lot without actually going into the contact itself. You can also share contacts with other people in your organization. You can move them to different areas, sync them with Google. Now let's go into, once you want to really dive into a contact, you click on it and it'll take you to the actual contact itself. So once you're in the contact, example Marion Griffin, you have all the information that you would need. If you have a picture, that picture will show up. The next time you're going to contact them, the last time you contacted them, when their initial contact was, as well as any other information that you need. So this is the main contact CRM-based data repository that holds all the important information that you would need to know. If they're a lead, this tracks everything that you would need for the lead side of things, what their probability was, when the first time they purchased, last time they purchased, as well as if they're a buyer looking for a property, you can keep track of all the information that that property would want, that contact told you that they're interested in a property, as well as you can keep notes on that contact as well. Anything that was going on with the contact, if there's tasks, it's triggered by the type of of contact this is, it'll automatically trigger a task list to be done. If it's a new buyer lead or it came from the web, then it'll automatically populate that, as well as you can add more task lists to this. See what's due today, see what's overdue, get things done to move this contact or this lead along the process. You can also have an activity set. So if you come in here and you schedule an activity, you can say, hey, this is a meeting, or this is a follow-up, this is a specific start and end time. So maybe it's a lunch meeting. What this will do is it'll not only add this activity to Marion's profile, but it'll also put it into your calendar up here at the top so that it will sync with your Google. So everything you create on your contacts automatically syncs back and forth to your main infrastructure. Say exactly what you need to do. Any history that has gone on with this contact is saved right here, as well as you have associated. And what this associated feature will do is it'll associate any properties that Marion's ever been associated with, any groups or any other contacts that you want to associate with Marion. And if you've shared Marion with anybody, then it'll show it here. Anything it's associated with, any documents that you want to save with it, as well as any tags. So you can tag these people so that you know where you saw them or any important feature that you have in here. If I want to add more, I click save, and then I can go in here and say NAR, and NAR will pop up, and I can add as many tags or things that I want. So you can fully invest into managerial CRM and manage everything that you need to do with every contact that you have and sync them with Google. Finally, let's go back to the main screen and let's review and show you the final couple of things that we have. As you've seen, we've gone over the core pieces from beginning to end. You can take a transaction from the very beginning stage all the way to the end. A couple of these tabs that we did not show you is, one is the calendar. So you can go into the calendar, you can sync it with Google, you can set your event types as an office type or your own personal event, title it, add different things, and then you can save it and it all syncs to Google. The next piece is if you go into the document management side. So you have the ability to completely manage your documents, save links, manage documents that are outside of the transaction. If you have office documents that you want your agents to always have access to, things like that as well. You also have the report section at the top. Up here, you have the ability to have all these reports at your fingertips. If you want your average commissions for your office, total sales prices, your agent rosters, anything that you have that you want to kind of pull up, commissions, average commissions that goes on through, if you have an inventory, about anything that you kind of need and anything that you would need, we can provide. So we do custom reporting for offices as well. And finally, we have the management side of things that we didn't really go completely through, but this allows you to really manage from the overview of things without going into every single section. You see all your transactions, any leads that have been assigned, your agent info. If you want to keep track of important information on Lucy, then you have all of her details in here, any documents, any activities you have for your agents to do. Maybe it's continuing education, you want to store the documents, leave notes on meetings you've had with them, just to kind of keep track of what's going on with your agents. And that pretty much wraps up our overview of this platform with Fuser. We hope that you've enjoyed this, and we look forward to talking with you again in the future.